So
You know.
really, there are life lessons in games.
Yeah, there are things that somehow relates with a bit of economical and structural life lessons that you can try and put in place.
Hello, everybody. This is Chitoin, and welcome to Chitoin Chats. We're going to be talking about something super interesting for teenagers and young adults. Please bring them in here. And with me, I have Mr. Kanyinsola. I've known him for a couple of years. He's into project management, but guess what I know about him? He loves to play games. I remember back then. Mr. Kanyinsola, welcome to our chat today. It's good to have you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
All right, so Mr. Kanyinsola, I know you love to play games. I play games as well, but I used to play Super Mario, Tetris, the Dr. Mario that will have the capsules, colored capsules drop on the head of the virus.
I love that one too.
That's right. Please tell me about the games you love, because I'm curious.
Yeah, games I love. I started playing games, and it started with a love for the shoot 'em up games. Shoot them up and like Contra. I remember I used to love Contra. That was actually the first game out there I played. And then when the advent of Super Mario came and the Super Nintendo, there was Mario Brothers,
Wow.
jumping all the place and all that, The fascinating thing was watching people play it too. Yeah, literally pressing buttons on the control pad, but because you're trying to make your Mario character jump higher, yeah, holding and raising the pad, it's as if that gave them a bit of leverage. But it was always funny seeing that. But talking about the games I love, well, they're more strategy games, strategy and role-playing games. Strategy because you get to learn how to do some things, because you have to think of how to solve a problem, and then role-playing games because you have to play a part and lead people to do certain things. And also, I love those type of games because they kind of teach you some things about life.
Life lessons?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. So games can teach life lessons. I remember you mentioning strategy games. Is it games like chess and like they make you smarter and all?
I have games like chess, word games that make you think about words, learn more about words. But then I'm talking more about games that you have to think of how to solve problems or fight a battle. So let me mention the game I'm talking about. For those who have played Age of Empires. Okay. Now, Age of Empires is about war. You build a community, you gather resources, and then you build your army, and then you go to war. You're looking for places, you're thinking of how to find your enemy and how to conquer your enemy. There are obstacles here and there, and you have to think your way around. And then, of course, the fact that you're thinking about how to gather resources just as fast as you go to war and use the resources, those kind of things help you balance some things in life. For example, money, expenses, and revenue. Okay, a lot of people just think of, if you want to make money, you just go and look for one big contract here and there. But that doesn't happen all the time. Sometimes it comes in little bits, all right? And that's where you have to understand your wallet. This is what comes in, this is what goes out. It's simple math. If 10 comes in and 10 goes out, what is left is 0. If 10 comes in and 2 go out, then you have 8 left. And from there, you have things to save that you can now consider in using to launch out into something big. So that's basically part of the things I also learned from Age of Empires. You're gathering resources as fast as possible, and then you're watching how you're using them. You're thinking of better ways to use them. Thinking of which part of your army is best suitable to release the higher power based on the amount you're spending. Things like that. You're thinking and you're trying to make it happen. So yeah, you get life lessons from games.
Wow, that's an interesting one you made there. Thank you for pointing that out. And it looks like you're giving the teenagers and the young adults more points on why they should play games. Because I mean, if they come to tell me that, look, this game is going to make me smarter, it's going to give me a life skill or a soft skill, they've taken my point. I don't have anything to argue with them again. But how do we then balance, this love for games? Are there games that don't teach anything? they're just for the entertainment? Are there games like that?
Yeah, sure. I'll say there are games that don't teach anything. They are. So entertainment. If you look at Mortal Kombat, for example, now the question is, what does Mortal Kombat teach you? You're fighting using a guy who throws ice at someone, and you're fighting with somebody using fire. Yeah, But then, of course, if you want to look at it a bit clearly, looks at the fact that you have to think of ways to beat the other person. This is where it now goes a bit dark. It is basically about how you manage your resources. Now, the resource I'm talking about now is your time. It is fun, all right, to play games. It's enjoyable. It's entertainment. You can make money from games, okay? You create content. You know how to play a particular game. You are very good at it. You release content on YouTube, and because of the followers you have, you make money, all right? Now, if you do that, you are fine, because the things that you need in life, you're already using what you love to get money, and you're able to build certain empire with that. Oh, but then, of course, there's certain things that reality of life brings to your mind. It's a reality check that actually helps me, okay? Because if you have 24 hours in a day, you have to sleep, you have to eat, you have to play games, all right? But then there are certain things that are in life that needs other things apart from games. Let me use a simple example. Interacting with a human being, you cannot get that from a game. You have to literally walk up to a person, say hi, say hello, they give you feedback, and then you communicate. It happens that way. Now, for someone like me, because of where I grew up, I was kind of shy. I couldn't talk to people. But I realized that you have to build that aspect of you, and it doesn't come from games. Talk about how to build life skills, all right? You have to leave your games to build life skills. You are doing content creation now, all right? There's certain things you've learned. Speaking English, for example, speaking in front of people, speaking to an audience, those are skills you have to learn by doing them. And it doesn't necessarily come from games. You get it. There's certain things you pick up from games, but then not everything would give you those things. So there's a part of schedule management that has to be put in place, all right, to make sure that your focus on the game does not take away other time resources that you can put into other things that can build you up. When we started primary school, we had to learn everything: integrated science, math, English, arts, everything. We had to do everything. But by the time we got to university, post-university, we had to start majoring in certain aspects. Okay, we had to start choosing what we wanted to do. When we started preparing as kids, what do you want to be in life? Oh, they tell them, I want to be a doctor, I want to be the president, I want to be this. If you ask them now what they are doing compared to what they wanted to be, it has changed, because there's a dynamic to it, which is why I talk about the fact that there has to be a reality check. When you grow up, all right, you have to probably get married, get a job, fend for people, fend for yourself, and all that. Games would not necessarily do that unless you are using the game to make money.
Wow.
So adding to what you mentioned about giving your teenagers points, all right, there's also the fact that we need to understand what exactly one is doing. If it's pure entertainment, you have to tell yourself the truth. This is pure entertainment, all right? You cannot live your life based on entertainment. We're in Nigeria, we don't get social security payments every month, you get. And even if you get that, it's a measly amount for you to live on, all right? And you can't do that all your life, because there are certain things that you might desire to do. For example, you get to an age, you like a girl, you have to take her out. You can't take her out on a measly social fee that they're giving you. You need to make some moolah. So those are the kind of reality checks that have to come into the picture. And you're thinking, what can I do? And you realize that gaming may not be the thing for you, because it's not everybody that has the talent for certain games. All right, you definitely find somebody who will most likely be better than you. I mean, I remember in university, I spent a lot of my allowance on Pro Evolution Soccer, just to go and pay to play. You have to pay to play, and then you get so good, you pay one fee and you're beating everybody, the owner of the place realizes that I'm not making money with this guy. So if you pay and you win 3 games, you have to pay another amount.
Wow.
Economy will change things. So it comes with a reality check eventually. When you start looking at, okay, what am I spending? What's taking away my resources? And what is it bringing as a benefit? All right. If it's entertainment, then we have to call it what it is. It is entertainment. All right. So I have to learn the discipline of knowing what to focus on. If you have a job to do, focus on the job. If you're free and you have a slack time, play your game. All right, no problem. But when it's time to work, go to work. When it's time to play, it's time to play. Even if when you are playing, you tell people that you are busy, fine, because it is your allocation for playing. For some people, it is their time to recuperate. So it's for them to relax. All right. But then the problem now is to manage that, where people now focus on it and you play too much. It takes all your time for other things. It becomes an addiction. That you have to fight. That is the problem we're trying to avoid. Gaming in itself is not wrong, but overdoing it is now the problem.
Wow. So thank you for this. You've mentioned reality check and, coming to that realization that, look, this thing is just entertainment. Even though you're going to adopt life skills and soft skills, you still need to leave that game and go out there into the social world, because you're a social being. You're not meant to live in isolation. But then I have a question. How do you bring a teenager, let's say a teenage child or a mentee, or as a coach, how do you bring a teenager to that realization, especially when they're already on campus, university, and they rather prefer to play games than to revise or read or hang out with friends? You rather sleep or play games. And maybe they are 19, going to 20. When will they come to that realization, and how can you bring them to that realization?
So the thing is, it has to be a reality check, all right? And giving them that reality check does not come easy. Let me give an example. For myself, all right, at some point I had to do the reality check myself. Okay, I have to tell myself that this is not what's going to give me the future I desire. You have to focus on work. You have to focus on learning things. Okay. And I was still managing it with it. And then fortunately, there was someone who came as a stronghold to also help me. And it helped a lot. It was my spiritual father, Apostle Shegun Abaje. One time he seized my phone for, I think, about a week or two. So I was without my phone for that period. Yes. That was about, I joined my church, God's Love Tabernacle. That was at 2009. I was already working.
Were in your 30s or 20s?
I'll say 20s, late 20s.
Wow.
So I took my phone and I was without my phone for a while. Well, I didn't like it, but it also gave me time to review certain things. Okay, it gave me a picture of how bad it was. I didn't think it was bad, all right? I thought I was managing it, but that gave me another reality check that, see, you have to focus more resources into these things if you want the results you desire. So by the time I got it back, I had to start watching myself, all right, gradually. It took time. I can't say it happened all of a sudden. It took some time, all right? And then, of course, I had to look at things. And then there are certain reality checks that you may have. For example, when you realize that you don't have money to do the things you want to do, and you're asking yourself, what are the things I can do to get this thing? Playing the game is not going to fetch you the money. And so you realize that you have to put in some work to get those things out. When you start working with a corporate entity and you know that there are rules, all right, they tell you, deliver this. Why are you supposed to be delivering your plate? If they catch it, they will fire you straight. You know? And I think, so that kind of gave me the reality check. However, the question you asked is, how do you now do that to teenagers, to 10, 20s and all that? The thing is this, it starts from getting to know them. You see, you cannot influence somebody without knowing them. That's primary. You cannot influence someone without knowing them. Apostle Shegun couldn't have done what he did if he didn't know them. So there were some investments he had made that got him to that opportunity to be able to do that, and I would not fight it. All right. So the same thing is important. You need to get to know these people. It's not just by going there and say, this is wrong. Sometimes before you say it is wrong, you need to find out about the person. What's your name? How do you do? Have time to gist with the person. I notice you play games a lot. Tell me about it. What fascinates you about it? The person is willing to share and tell you everything. Like, okay, so how do you manage this with other things you need to do, like schoolwork and all that? By the way, are you getting good grades? Now, you have a conversation going. The person is, okay, well, I'm not doing so well, but it's because there are certain things they'll reveal to you based on conversation. You can tell whether they're actually responsible or being irresponsible. Now, when I say responsible, I mean taking ownership of what's going wrong. You see, if you can tell yourself the truth and take ownership, it's good. Yeah, you're making headway. But if you start blaming on, it's my village people, and it's my father that did not do this one, and it is one teacher that doesn't know how to teach. No, the truth is, whoever it is, they have people who make impact around them, and there are people who do not make progress around them. It is normal. The question is, are you positioning yourself correctly to get the things you want? Because we can blame other people for our mishaps, but the truth is, what exactly are you doing about it? Are you the one taking responsibility? The key thing is to get them to the point where they can actually accept that I need to take responsibility for my life. It is not my mother, it is not my father, it is not my brother, it is not my mentor, it is not I personally have to be responsible for my life. And it doesn't come cheap. It takes a number of investments. And that investment is usually a time to get to know the person. Because some people, what they do is playing games is just a way to get away from challenges of life. Something may have happened in the past, and then it's just a dream world that can just stay in and just keep living there. True. Not to realize that some of these things have to be tackled. Like I said, I couldn't talk, let me put it this way, I couldn't talk to ladies. But over time, I had to get used to talking to them. When I left secondary school, I felt ladies were stupid. That's a fact. I felt ladies were stupid. But with time, I discovered that these people are also human beings, just to find out the things that make them tick. And then when I started learning those things, and I knew some of the things I had that could help me, I created a strategy that suited me, and it works till date. In fact, I remember one mentoring meeting Apostle had back then, and he mentioned things like, if you want to propose to a lady, you have to become her friend. I said those things. I was like, okay, become her friend. They just walk up to them and start throwing fine pickup lines. No, get to know them. They want to know. All right, they want to be appreciated. They want all these things too, just like you do. It's not about you being spiritual and speaking scriptures. They want to know the real you apart from the spiritual part of you. They want to know that you can converse, you can speak intelligently about things, you can make decisions, you can lead and all that. So they need to know that about you. So when I picked up do it, meet her and then walk past her and say hello. So my thing was, start by saying hello. If you say hello and she responds, that's the start. You don't have to say everything now. Say hello. Another day, another hello. With time, there's recognition. Then from hello, hi becomes hello, how are you? How's work? Or how's class today? And you end it there, you leave. So for me, that was my strategy. And I built on it. And with time, you realize that you are conversing, she's laughing, and get to a point where you guys are gisting, and she doesn't want to leave your presence, and you know that, she likes me, I like her. And
this is a beautiful story you're saying. I'm sure there's still a lot to unpack, but I mean, you have dropped some really, really weighty lessons that every one of us can go home with, either the teenager or young adult or the parent and coach. And thank you so much for sharing these things. They are so deep. We have to watch this video over and over again. I like that you highlighted that this is a journey and it starts from that moment you realize. I also like the fact that we moved from having conversations about games And then we ended with relationships and starting a family. This is fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Kanyinsola, for having us listen to you today. It's such a pleasure. Any final words, please?
Oh, well, what I would like to say as a final word is no matter where you are at this point, all right, there's always a way to get to the destination you want to get to. It's just a matter of committing to the cause. That's it. I've learned that don't write anybody off. Never write anybody off. Which is why in my life, I value everybody I meet. No matter how old you are, how young you are to me, I will communicate with you like a respectful human being that you are. All right, no matter what you're doing, because you never know tomorrow. Okay, so just decide, start, commit to it, put structures in place to help you push forward. Get people, get relationships that drive you, get a mentor and follow the mentor. Listen to the mentor. If you're not a Christian, my advice is give your life to Christ. In fact, that is going to be a very strong leverage. A very strong leverage. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kanyinsola. We're so happy to have heard you today. Do have a lovely time for the rest of the day. Bye.
Bye-bye.